anchor us to our ideals, what will call us to new heights, lift our heads, lift our hopes. What will call us to rise is each other. We need each other.
He's about to break the record, everyone.
In this country, we need a greater fight in this country. We need a greater determination. We can't act as if this is normal times. These people's stories that I wrote were calling
He's about to
out for
break
help.
the
Senator,
record.
help me. Someone help me. I'm in danger of losing my health care. Someone help me. I'm a veteran. Look what happened to me. It's not fair. I fought for this country. Help me, help me. I'm worried about my Social Security. And the rural office I go to is being closed. Help. People calling out for help. And what Americans do when people are calling out for help? We built an infrastructure.
Hey.
The greatest project ever, called it the Underground Railroad, where Quakers, white folks...
Guys, he's about to break the record. We're 1 minute away. 1 minute away. I have a post locked and loaded.
People together from across our country. Let's have a conference. Let's go to Seneca Falls. What did they do when they faced violence? Well, look at the people at Stonewall who stood up, who pushed back, who organized, who won. What do they do when the dogs are unleashed on us, the fire hose are unleashed on us? Look at what they did in Selma. I'm getting close to a record, folks, but...
He's 1 minute away. He's 1 minute away, technically. He's at the record. He's at the record, guys.
There's a room here in the Senate named after Strom Thurmond.
All right, I'm posting this officially.
To hate him was wrong. And maybe my ego got too caught up that if I stood here, maybe, just maybe I could break this record of the man who tried to stop the rights upon which I stand. I'm not here, though, because of his speech. I'm here despite his speech. I'm here because as powerful as he was, the people were more powerful.
I guess I'm jumping the gun by about 20 seconds. Nope, there we go. He did it. He broke the fucking record, guys.
Know the story, my colleagues, of when the man that beat him savagely, drew blood, cracked bones.
Oh, he's gonna get me
decades later, he
fucking
was
filtered.
a congressman. That man brought his grandson with him to ask for forgiveness from John Lewis.
Holy cow.
I heard about this story when I was in the car in Georgia with him. What did you do, John? This man that so viciously beat you, wounded you, bruised you, battered you. What did you do when he came to ask you for forgiveness?
Cow.
What did you do? And a good Christian man of faith, simply said, every one of us needs mercy. Every one of us needs redemption. I forgave him. I hugged him. We wept. And I looked at the boy. This nation needs you too.
He did. He just broke the record. He just broke the record.
John?
Would the senator yield for a question?
Chuck Schumer, it's the only time in my life I can tell you no.
He just broke the record.
I just want to tell you a question. Do you know you have just broken the record? Do you know how proud this caucus is of you? Do you know how proud America is of you?
Oh my God, I'm crying. He just broke the record. He just broke the record. Fuck. Holy shit. He just broke the record. He just broke a record that was previously held by a man who was filibustering the Civil Rights Act of 1957. He broke an unbreakable fucking record. He's a black man who fucking broke a record of hate. Do you know how fucking incredible it is that we are alive to watch this right now? Yes, Nas, exactly. He's been on for 24 hours and 21 minutes.
Order.
Holy shit.
Chair does not wish to take away from this moment, but I think the best way to honor this great accomplishment to our guests in the gallery, to make a rare exception and let you stand to show your appreciation, I will not constrain my fellow senators.
Thank you. Chuck Schumer, I have yielded for a question, and you asked me, did I know? I know now.
He is. Holy shit, dude.
I want to not quite wrap this up yet.
Yeah, right, Shannon? Good. Yeah, man. Fucking take your victory lap. Take your victory
I
lap.
want to wrap this up yet. My mom's senator, my mom's been watching. I know Catherine Cortez Masto has a...
Guys, this is fucking historic. This is historic.
A little further. I love, and again, I know people are trying to train each other. And all of our media operations, they give the worst images of the people of the other party. But I want to tell you one of the funny tweets
Holy
my
shit.
staff gave me is something Ted Cruz said. Is he's around 19-20 hours, he said, maybe I should pull a fire alarm. He's going to break my record. I'm going to pause in a moment if she has a question for me to Catherine Cortez Masto, because she's my mother, but I do want to
Holy
say again,
shit.
2 points to make if I can. One is how grateful I am to my staff.
Hi, Lettuce. Did you just see? History has officially been made. History has just been made. How crazy is that?
When we decided to do this days ago, they were like, we have to do this. And we started preparing and working on this, and they did an extraordinary job. They were with me late nights writing.
That is so
writing.
fucking
I just
awesome.
feel guilty 'cause they wrote
Even
about
if,
10
dude,
books.
even if you're fucking MAGA bullshit, you can't, like, without admitting that you're a fucking raging racist, you cannot help but acknowledge how significant this fucking moment is. This is incredible.
Colleagues do that have a trigger that if the Medicaid funding goes below 90%, they stop the Medicaid expansion.
He broke a fucking record that was previously held by a guy who was filibustering the Civil Rights Act of 1957. Even if you're fucking MAGA, this is an incredibly, like, important historic moment. MAGA are haters, bunch of fucking racists.
Arbiters and are saying that what Trump is doing is wrong, that a budget
There's not a
like this
consequence, Cold.
that blows massive holes in our deficit, it will be something our children are trying to pay for. And what are they ultimately paying for?
This is
causes
crazy.
Big deficit. It's trillions of dollars of tax cuts that people like Doge, multi-billionaire Musk will benefit from, but children won't. They did such a good job bringing together authorities on both sides of the aisle. I just want to thank them. I want to thank my cousin Pam and my family. Cousin Pam, like Chris Murphy, was here for the whole time. I want to thank Chris Murphy again.
That's not true, Reed. You don't understand how shit works.
Who never stopped telling me we could do this.
Reed, you're a fucking racist if you can't acknowledge and appreciate the record that has just been set. Even Republicans are like, even his fucking fellow Republicans in the Senate and in the House are congratulating him. Your refusal to do so just fucking reveals how much of a fucking bigot you are.
I want to go a little bit past this, and then I'm gonna deal with.
This is incredible, dude. You just like witnessed history and like you're just fucking butthurt about it. How fucking funny is it that you're so fragile?
But I'm gonna wait here because I have the power. I have the floor. Somebody has to ask me, perhaps. From my
You just
mom's
witnessed
state.
history. We are witnessing history.
To work.
Fucking history.
So will the good senator from New Jersey yield for a question?
Yeah, exactly.
My
B.
mom would be so upset with me, my Aunt Marilyn, my Uncle Butch, my Aunt Shirley, all the people that are your constituents, not mine. They would be upset with me if I didn't yield to you for a question while retaining the floor.
Well, first of all, Senator Booker, I have to say, we in Nevada are so proud of you. We are proud to be Nevada Strong. You are one of us. You are definitely New Jersey, Nevada Strong, and so proud of what you've
That's
accomplished
crazy,
so
dude.
far.
That is
And
crazy.
willing to stay here as long as it takes to help you get your
No,
message
he doesn't
across.
get to. He didn't get to go to the bathroom the whole time, Olivia.
We are all here
He's
right
not
now.
allowed
So
to
I
leave the
wanna-
floor.
I wanna pose
The
a
only
question to
break he
you,
gets
actually,
is when
couple
someone
questions.
poses a
I wanna
question,
start
but
off
he still has to
and
stand
set
there.
the stage here because you have been here now, for over 24 hours. You are missing some of the national news, things that are happening out there. But one of the things I want to point to that is happening that you may not be aware of, and you've touched on it a little earlier today, is this notion that we have now a president who is actually focused on billionaires and tax cuts for billionaires at the expense of the American public. And one of the things we have watched him do is cut funding for medical research. Now, what you may not know is just today,
I know,
found
right,
out
Olivia?
that
No, he's not allowed to be
laid
brought
off
any
the
drinks or food the whole time.
healthy aging branch of the CDC.
He's not allowed to sit. He's not allowed to be
This
given any
office
food or drink.
administers
He's not allowed to leave the
Alzheimer's
floor.
disease programs. And it oversees the funding from the Bold Infrastructure for Alzheimer's Act, and it is a piece of
Yeah, possibly
legislation that
called.
I'm so proud to partner with Susan Collins on. And she has fought for, and we have fought for funding for it. to
I mean,
support
when you say
caregivers
act
and
in
their
public, this
families.
is the
And
most they
Congress
can
just
do,
reauthorized this
right?
funding.
In many ways, this
And
is
now
the
we have a
most they can
president
actually do. This
that has
is
stopped the critical work that
the
scientists
peak
are
of their
doing to
power
try and
sometimes.
cure Alzheimer's.
Yeah,
And I
exactly,
bring
Scott.
This to your attention,
I know, right?
Senator,
Tired? He's
because
fucking 55, dude.
like you, and I think like all of us, there are personal moments in the work that we do.
Storm Thurmond had a bucket outside
My
a chamber
personal
door to
moment
relieve
is
himself.
My
Nice.
grandmother, who I'm named after, died from
Someone
Alzheimer's.
once used a catheter
She
years
died at a
ago.
time in
I wonder
Las
if that's what
Vegas
he
when
did.
there was not enough research, when there was not enough health care, when there were
If he has to
really not
relieve
enough
himself,
providers to
I don't know if he
understand
used a
what was
catheter
going on.
or a fucking diaper.
And so for
Used one of
many
them.
us, this
Pretty
fight,
much
not only
guarantee.
is it personal, but we recognize the impact that it has outside the Beltway in so many families and lives across the country. And that's what this is about. In Nevada, as of 2023,
That's
there are
fucking crazy, dude.
49,000 people, 65 and older, are living with Alzheimer's. And that's projected to reach 65,000 this year. Not only did we hear that HHS laid off the entire healthy aging branch of the CDC, but Donald Trump also recently terminated a $14,000 NIH research grant that had been supporting Alzheimer's research at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. And he's continued to cut the grant for essential research for so many reasons. We've seen these funding cuts, we've seen mass layoffs, and the impoundment of grants that have already been approved by Congress. This is a violation of the rule of law, and you have been talking
Okay.
about
Good
that
night,
for the
Lettuce.
last
Thanks for
couple of
stopping
hours.
in.
President Trump is forgetting that this is personal. It is happening to so many families. So my question,
I know,
Senator
right,
Booker,
Dave?
to you is, what do you think
It's wild.
families and caregivers
I started fucking tearing
of
up.
those
I just
impacted by
posted a
Alzheimer's,
video.
how they are feeling
I
about
started
what is
tearing. I got
happening
emotional.
right now?
Dude, even if you disagree with
So this
him,
bothers
even
me
if
for
you
two
fucking
reasons.
love everything
And
that's
the first
happening in the
you've already
country right
mentioned
now, like,
is
I,
this is the
you cannot deny the
bipartisan
significance
work
of
that
this
we do.
moment. This is
I talked
fucking
about
historic.
photography and the bipartisan gun bill that lots of people here worked on with Senator
my
Cornyn
God,
and
Gregory.
others, and how upset my state
Oh,
is that
Jesus.
some of that community violence intervention money that I worked so hard to get in that bill is being clawed back by a president. There are people in this room, I know so many of you, and I know on the other side, that have done such great work to work with our colleagues to find common ground.
Someone
and
just
get
texted me,
really
eat shit,
important
Strom
programs
Thurmond.
passed that bring resources to families. And it's being clawed back by a president, not with consultation, not with a hearing, not with a discussion of even why you would target Alzheimer's research.
This is crazy.
That is a violation of the separation of powers. And I wish my Republican colleagues would hold more hearings about that. These are programs that they like. I saw that with USAID. I worked with Marco Rubio on some of that programs and those investments that are now been cut and clawed back. So it's a separation of powers issues. It's an offense to the common goals that we share in this community of leaders. But the second reason it bothers me is an article I read hours ago.
I
by
know, right?
Fareed
Just
Zakaria.
told.
And
This
he
is
talks
crazy.
about what's happening to a nation that cuts so dramatically what is one of the best taxpayer investment dollars in biomedical sciences. If you're an investor and I told you there's an investment that every dollar you invest, you would get $5 back for your economy, folks would be invested in that
Dave.
vehicle. Well, that's NIH funding. Every dollar you invest, who would
I'm
cut
teetering
a
on
profit
burnout.
center?
I'm not gonna
It's
lie.
just a profit center, though.
Everything else in my
The
life
outcomes, the
is
discoveries
like dropping from the wayside. My fucking apartment is a mess.
Change the lives of people who are suffering in your nation and around the world.
I've got fucking takeout
But he's
containers
attacking
piled
them.
right next to me.
I read all these universities from around the country.
It's
This
not
shows you
pretty.
how
Let me say
magnanimous I'm
that.
trying to be. I even read stories from USC. I'm
Thank
sorry,
you.
I'm sorry, rival.
Yeah, if
That
this guy
all
can
these
do
universities
this,
are cutting their
we can
postdocs,
do anything.
cutting their PhDs, cutting the lending because they don't know, as Donald Trump threatens, the direct costs they're stopping. And Fareed Zakaria said so painfully to all
Andrew,
Americans with Americans
he broke the
pride,
record.
as we are doing that,
He broke the
China,
record.
who, when they had that cultural revolution, they
What's up,
first went after their
Gabriel?
universities. Now, modern China, their government is doing the opposite. They're trying to out-America us. They're massively increasing their investments in scientific research because they know if they get ahead of us on quantum computing, all of our subs can be located. God knows what could happen. They
With
could,
like a wipe,
any kind
right?
of
With like a
cryptology they could break.
exactly. Fuck
They know
Strom
they get ahead
Thurmond.
of us on scientific research, the power and advantage it will give them, so they're doubling down. But what are we doing in America? We're tolerating a president that is cutting the funding that will predict who defines the future and what values will define those futures. Will they be democratic values, or will it be the values of the country that's competing with us to beat us, and right now we're giving them a head start? And then the final reason that question bothers me is because my father died of Parkinson's and he had Parkinson's-related dementia. And I know what that's like. I know the pain families are enduring. I remember the time that my dad and my mom, we were in the movie theater, and my mother just shook my world. She was in Georgia. And so many people here in this room have had the same experience. We're in a movie theater, and my mom leans over to me and said, "You need to take your dad to the bathroom." I never imagined the years of my dad as a 2-year-old and 3-year-old taking me to the bathroom, that one day I'd have to take him. And so in this Atlanta movie theater, in the middle of a movie, which I was like, okay, it's time for me to do this ritual that so many families know. I pick my dad up, who's shuffling with his Parkinson's. I'm not seeing any light in his eyes that he's there. I'm just letting him hold me, and he's shuffling into the bathroom. And then we get to a public bathroom. His hands are shaking. He's standing
Really,
at the urinal.
Caglio? I did
And then
not know that.
realize I gotta unbuckle this man's pants.
Exactly right, Andrew. Don't let anyone even come close.
So many families know this, and my ego, I'm sorry, I was leaning over and I'm saying, wait a minute, I'm in a public bathroom, leaning over, I'm buckling another man's pants. Please, please, God, don't let somebody come in. And as if God heard my call, someone walked in. And I hear the person walk, and I'm like, just please keep walking. Go into a stall, please keep walking. And then suddenly I hear the feet walk past me and stop. And then the man turns around and says, "Oh my God, Cory Booker."
He's still going.
And then I look up at my dad, and I see the clarity in his eyes. He is 100% there, and he's grinning and loving my mortified embarrassment.
Reportedly, Strom
Alzheimer's. It's devastating so many American families who are watching the loved one of their
Strom was
lives
mumbling by
diminish.
the end of his. Look at this guy.
And we're cutting
This
funding.
is fucking
Donald Trump is
impressive.
cutting funding, democratically, bipartisanly approved. So forget the separation of powers. It's important. It's so important. If that doesn't get you, then maybe think about the competition with China. If that doesn't get you, if those two don't get you, America, think about the millions of Americans struggling with Alzheimer's, the struggles it does to those families. This is a moral moment, America.
They do not, cool guy.
This is going to define the character of our country for years
They
and
cannot
years to
get
come.
drink, food, or restroom breaks.
Has the Senate called a hearing on your bipartisan funding, Senator? No.
They have to use catheters or a diaper.
We done our oversight responsibility? Have we checked, as I read from the Federalist Papers, as our founders wanted us to do, is to check the executive, be the check at the executive that balances our governmental powers. No, we're not checking that executive. With Signalgate, I have heard from Republicans that serve in Congress of the 535 with us. I know other colleagues here have heard. They're mortified. You talked about that. Mortified about that. And again, this is not partisan. The Biden administration made foreign policy mistakes. Obama made foreign policy mistakes. Reagan, when I was growing up, I was hearing about the Iran-Contra scandal. So I'm not going to be one of those people that the pristine, perfect Democrats. We've made mistakes. We've made failings. We've let the public down. We have some reckoning in our own party that we're working on right now. But that doesn't say that you should just be one of these people that says, well, Biden did it. No, you should be a leader.
I know. He got like a second wind, I think.
And in fact, it could point
Thurman
to
had
real
food and
problems in
drink.
the national security of our country.
They might have changed the
And
rules.
the laws that
I
we
know that they've
have,
changed the rules over the
laws
years
are
a few
very
times.
simple. You're supposed to preserve records. How can a signal chain that disappears not be a violation of the law of this land? Is there a hearing on that?
It's even more fucking impressive.
Head of the Intel Commission, not a hearing at all. Where are the checks and balances spelled out in the Constitution? We are derelicting our
Yeah.
duties here in the Senate.
Damn. That's even more fucking
We
impressive.
are. And
God,
the
I keep
consequences of
fucking
that is
tearing
very
up when I
national
think
security
about
of
it.
the country. How many times
It's
do you
beautiful,
think
dude.
this was the first time they created a signal chat?
Michael, how about this? You go do
You're a
something
very rational man.
more
You think
effective and
that
then we can fucking talk.
You're my leader on these issues. Or Jack Reed. No, this indicates a real problem, and the Senate, the United States Senate, should get to the bottom of it. This is a moral moment. I keep saying it's a moral moment. Who are we going to be? What's going to define us? And it's time not for the typical tribalism. It's time for leaders to start standing up and saying, you know what? We can go a different way. We can imagine a different country. That's why I pointed out the new leader of the Democratic Party on the House side. We're a different generation. There's a rising generation of people. I've talked about my friend who wrote this great book, Abundance. There's a whole bunch of new ideas out there that are about the
God.
future, about the possibilities.
I've
of
never
hope,
liked him,
of
and
the
now,
greatness of America, not the
unfortunately,
greatness that
I'm
is
starting to like him.
braggadocious, not the greatness that says,
God damn
I'm
it.
better than you, not the greatness that says,
God damn it, Cory Booker.
only
What have
I
you
can
done to
fix
me?
things. That's not the America we want. We want America that says, we the people. An America that says, e pluribus unum. An
Oh, that's
America
amazing,
says that
Drips.
our history shows that rugged individualism and self-reliance are
Filibuster
important
stuff.
values, but rugged individualism didn't beat the Nazis.
Okay, Michael, cool.
It didn't take us to the
Michael,
moon.
again,
We did
go
that
and do
together,
something more
America.
effective, and then
These
I'll
bigger
I'll
visions
like
that
you
can
more.
unite us beyond
If
our
you do something more,
narrow
come back to
partisan
me,
divides
and
for
then
a
maybe
real
you can
mandate.
convince me that
And you
this
know what a real
isn't
mandate
something.
should be?
I'm not kidding. Go do something
It really
more
should be. God, I have
effective
heard from
and
so many
bigger,
colleagues on this side of the
more
aisle that
impressive,
said
and
if they
yeah,
formed a
happily.
commission of former executives in this body.
But if this is the most we can hope for.
It was hard, but I had to cut 24% of my budget. 1 out of 4 employees. It was really hard. It caused a lot of pain, but we had to reduce my government. There are a lot of people here, there are executives on both sides of the aisle that would have said, pick me, let's form the most exciting team possible. Because Jack Reed knows that the military of the United States of America could do things more efficiently. It's a little bit of waste over there because they haven't passed an audit. Where's Maria Cantwell? The Commerce Committee. So many ideas about how to create profit centers in the American government.
Yeah, I know,
Talk
Andrew.
to me about them. You're brilliant on some of these.
I think
ideas.
Michael
I
is
look
just one of
around
these people
here,
who
or I
likes
can
to
look the other
complain.
side of the aisle. The man, the farmer sitting over there, the guy who's been so.
It's
good to
crazy.
me,
It's
Chuck
the same
Grassley.
people.
I forced
The
that
same
man to
people who are
hug me
complaining
when we
that they're
passed.
not doing anything
I forced it
are
on
the
him,
same
sir.
people
I have
complaining
pictures.
when he's
Can't deny
doing
it.
the only
I
thing
can
he
give you
really
right now,
can
sir.
to
You
obstruct
dude,
anything.
dude from New Jersey.
It's the same fucking
You're
people
so
every
sweet to
fucking
me
time.
still.
Okay, so what do you
We passed a
want?
good bipartisan bill.
You guys don't like it
People
when
like
they can do
Bill,
nothing. You don't like it
like
when they
Ryan
do what little
Lawson.
they
I
can.
met with you.
Like I
You
just
still have
don't.
big
What's the
ideas.
fucking solution then?
You still have big ideas.
What is
that
the
aren't
solution?
partisan.
Oh, the solution is not to give a
President
fuck
Trump,
about what you
in his-
want.
from his
That's what
inaugural
it
address
is.
To his first
Your opinion doesn't fucking matter because your opinion is always going to be negative. You're always going to be whining. So why should anyone ever try to do anything to please you or give you what you want? You will never be satisfied.
In America for all Americans. I trust the genius of America, the kindness and the decency, but this president doesn't do that. He violates all of our common senses of decency. And don't
The funniest part is that the people who do that also are the ones who like constantly demand the system change to meet them where they are. It's like the system is never going to change for you because you're never satisfied.
As I said earlier, that isn't
Like, you're not worth it. You're not fucking worth the work.
We have a country now where a president says, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for Donald Trump.
What are you talking about, Andrew?
And you're seeing who gets the special treatment.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't know if I want to know what you're talking
about. Are really threatened right now with being bankrupted by Donald Trump targeting them. Others have decided a different path. I'm not hating on them, but they said we're going to go to Trump and we're going to offer him what he wants. We're going to give him tens of millions of dollars of free pro bono work. I wish they would bring some of that free pro bono work to Newark, New Jersey. A lot of people who need lawyers, folks in my city.
I mean, I worry about this country, Dave. I know what you mean, and I agree. But
you want a merger?
It's just crazy. I'm saying.
But a lot of money in Donald Trump's meme coin.
It's so fucking frustrating.
Something more called emoluments. And we sit by and act like, oh, no big deal. He's made millions and millions of dollars from who we don't know. We haven't held one hearing of oversight to know who is giving him millions of dollars to that meme coin. Is it the
I gotta look
Turks?
it up. This sounds a little familiar,
Saudis?
but
is it the Chinese?
I might have blocked it out of my fucking memory because it was so mortifying.
Is it the Russian oligarchs? Do we know? Should we know? Yes, America, stop falling into tribal lanes and closing your eyes to things that should not be normalized. Why are we normalizing
I will. I've got
things? They're wrong.
hot sauce all over my hands.
On the face of it is wrong. If you use Signal to discuss a military attack, the time of the attack, the weapons that are going to be used, and you do it on a commercial app and decide to include a reporter, there should be accountability. Am I crazy?
Fave Pelosi edition.
Order. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just remind you, expressions of approval and disapproval are not permitted by the gallery. Thank you.
He was forced to say that. Look at you defiant, man. The Senate and the House should be checks and balances on the President of the United States. The Senate and the House should not allow business as usual in this moment when the President is insisting that no one has the power to check and balance it. When a judge does it, when a judge decides
This isn't YouTube. Oh, wait, you mean my live or?
To have a ruling, and then the President of the United States doesn't appeal the ruling like most people kind of do,
Hold on.
but starts to drag and insult and threaten that judge with impeachment. And some people, astonishing to me, in our government said, oh, that's right, we should impeach this guy. That's not a question of left or right. That's a question of right or wrong. We're normalizing this behavior. We're letting him do things that Republicans, Democrats should say together are wrong.
Oh, wait, sorry.
So I want to say I'm going to stop soon.
Why isn't the multi-chat working? The fuck?
Well, for a question?
Oh, yes. God bless you. I will yield for a question while retaining the floor.
Thank you. I want to start, before I get to my question, with just saying how proud I am, how proud we all are of you. And I think I'm old enough to remember Strom Thurmond's Filibuster. I can remember being in high school and seeing the news every night and the reporters coming from the steps of the Capitol because they were filibustering the Civil Rights Bill. And what I'm proud of is that your focus on democracy and the opportunities
Oh, yeah, Brittany.
of that democracy opens up for all of our rights, in my mind, cancels out what Strom Thurmond did to prevent African Americans and others from getting the rights they deserve in this country. So I'm proud of
There we
that.
go. Finally. Sorry. Sorry, guys. In the multi-chat.
But I really want to, you talked earlier this afternoon about the rule of law and the overreach of this administration. And as part of that, you went through a litany of agencies that Congress had established that this president is trying to take away. And I just wanted to point out that, and you mentioned this earlier, one of those agencies that Congress established is the U.S. Agency for International Development. And earlier today, we had a shadow hearing roundtable, the Democrats on the Foreign Relations Committee. It was on the dangerous consequences of funding cuts to U.S. global health programs. And I know that as ranking member on the subcommittee on Africa and global health policy, you would have really been interested in this. I'm glad you were here on the floor, but I wish you could have heard what we heard from the people who testified.
Okay,
We heard from Atul Gawande, who used to be the administrator of USAID,
Finally got the
their
chat
global
up, the
health
multi-chat.
program. We heard from Dan Schwartz,
Although I don't know
who's the
if
Vice
it's
President of
including the YouTube
Management
chat.
Sciences for Health, that's a contractor that works on global health programs. And we heard from Nick Enrich, who's the former Assistant Administrator for Global Health at USAID. And they started.
Hey, what the hell?
PEPFAR has saved more than 26 million lives. It's reversed the spread of HIV/AIDS. They've done malaria prevention and control for over 500 million people.
That's a
They've
good point,
eradicated
Andrew.
smallpox and
Yeah, I want to
eliminated
know. What
most of
fucking shoes is
polio.
he wearing?
They've reduced infant mortality by more than 59% since 1990. They've supported cholera, measles, and Ebola outbreak response. And one of the things Dr. Gawande pointed out is that they took the response to Ebola outbreak from 2 weeks. Many of us remember that during the Obama administration when Ebola was coming
Shit
to the
kickers,
United
of course.
States. They took that response from 2 weeks down to 24 to 48 hours to be in there to be responding to the Ebola epidemic. And what has this president done? What has Elon Musk and Doge done? They've gone in to USAID. They've cut the global health workforce from over 800 to about 60.
Randy Fine, state senator, easily
They've
won a
taken
house seat in
system that
Florida.
was
Damn.
designed to make programs more efficient, and they dismantled it. And when the Inspector General Paul Martin reported on food rotting in ports, he was fired. USAID has been the largest civilian ground force to address global goals.
They
As
can be pretty long. They
Dr.
can be
Gawande
pretty
said,
rambling.
what we learned from
Yeah, they've been
USAID is
helping him.
prevention is a whole lot more
They've been
efficient
popping
and a
in
lot
every
cheaper
hour or so
than
with like a
emergency
bit of a
treatment. He
rambling
said that
question.
what we spend
Couple
on global
minutes.
health through USAID has been $9 a household in America in a year. $9. Think about what we've done with that $9. And as they were going through the litany of programs that have been cut, the one that caught my eye was 75% of the pandemic threat comes from diseases jumping from animals to humans. That program has been terminated. 75% of the threat of future pandemics. So, as we think about rule of law and the overreach of this president, would you agree with me that there has been no consultation with Congress about any effort to move USAID into the Department of State? and that because Congress created this agency, Congress has got to be involved in reauthorizing whatever comes next, and that this president and his Doge boys need to understand that before they take any more steps at USAID?
Yes, yes, yes. You and I both know that in a bipartisan way we created some of these programs principally to keep America safe. Many of us remember that dramatic hearing where Trump's Secretary of Defense, James Mattis, sat before the American people when they were discussing the budgets for USAID and the State Department. And John Mattis knew the power of those programs to keep us safe. You mentioned infectious diseases. Well, we live in a world where an infectious disease anywhere is a threat to public health everywhere. So pulling our scientists out of the fight against Ebola, pulling our scientists out of drug-resistant tuberculosis fights, it makes no sense. And then, in terms of our safety, he just simply said, if you cut these programs, buy me more bullets, because our fight's to spread democracy. There are nations in Africa, for example, where the Chinese are trying to influence a different way of life. That's why so many African countries now won't criticize China for things that the rest of the world say are bad, because they owe them so much debt, they're so engaged, they're so overplaying the fact. Chris Coons said something, I think it was Chris Coons said something painful earlier about Myanmar. This horrific thing. America, the most generous country on the planet, when there's a crisis, we lead the rest. I've sat in meetings in a bipartisan way with ambassadors from other countries where we had the moral authority to tell them, you're not doing enough. And in the Myanmar crisis right now, as Chris Coons said,
Yeah, he's well over 24 hours. He broke the record.
Americans, we don't have the capacity anymore.
He broke the record like,
A horrific crisis like that, but
what is it, 53,
Chinese government's there.
30 minutes ago? 35 minutes ago almost.
again, it's what defines us. I keep saying this is not a left-right moment. This is a moral moment, and we tell our truth with what we do with our resources. And here's the thing. When you poll people and ask them how much money you spend on USAID, they say, oh, it must be 10% of the American budget. It must be 5% of the American budget. It's around 1% or less. A penny of what tax dollars you send down to Washington goes to help us to make sure that around the globe we're countering the hard power of some countries with the power of our light and our soft power. We have been the envy of the world, where people see and know how special America is because we live the value of every major religion, that we're going to love our neighbors, we're going to be there for you in your times of need. And we all know, with a terrorist group from far away did the most horrific attack, that in a lot of these countries, terrorist groups are trying to counter the democratic governments there. Look in the Sahel region. Look what's happening. When I was in Nigeria, I was shocked to say what they're talking about: instabilities in the north, the threats of terrorism in the north.
We just witnessed
I'm going to go for 7 more minutes and
7 more minutes.
stop, but I want to use these last 7 minutes to return one more time to the people of my state and actually other states who demanded we do things different, who asked for help.
Not
Before I
only
do, I
did
just
he
wanna
fucking
thank
break
Mike
the
Lee
record, he
today.
broke the record with way
He's
harder
my
rules.
partner
Fuck yeah.
in antitrust,
Fuck
specialty of my
yeah.
friend Amy Klobuchar, and I text.
I
don't know if
hate
you
to
got my
admit it, but
text,
I like Cory
you got
Booker
it,
now.
Where I said to you,
Sorry.
I'm kind of going to the floor to hold it for as long as I can, and I may not make our first subcommittee together on antitrust.
Yeah,
where we
me
have
too.
A lot of common
Me
ground.
too, Andrew.
So I'm sorry I missed it today. I know you'll fill me in, but I know my friend filled in. Thank you. So I want to close back where we started about us.
Rizzo's going to like that.
About why I'm here.
Riz?
I believe that there is an urgent crisis in our country that we are not talking about. It's not a left-right crisis. It's a right-wrong crisis.
Pretty.
It's a moral moment, and again, in America,
No
that's
boy,
going to
no
define our
hate.
character, about who we are and what we stand for.
What do you mean?
There's a threat to the bedrock commitments we've made to each other as a country. People are threatening that bedrock commitment of Social Security.
What did I say?
They're calling it a Ponzi scheme. They're saying, making up.
Did I say I hate? I love that. I like him now. You know what?
When I read
Fine.
American after American who said that that is their lifeline. They told stories that if they don't get their Social Security payment, or they get caught up because nobody's answering their calls. If the rural Social Security office, I read states red and blue where they're closing Social Security offices. If I now have to drive not 100 miles, but 150 miles.
I got a lot of things I don't like about Cory Booker. I've historically not liked him very much.
I stood up here and said that's already cutting benefits if you can't access the folks.
Sure.
I stood here because there's a threat to these bedrock commitments. The bedrock commitment we've
Exactly,
made.
Drips. Actually, so I liked him a lot better years ago, like 8 years ago now.
My colleagues know when you start talking about Medicaid,
liked him as a choice for DNC chair
70, 80, 90
over
million
Debbie
Americans.
Wasserman Schultz.
It's our elders.
I think I voted for him for
Nursing
that.
homes.
If we had a way of voting for, I
It's our
don't
children
remember.
with disabilities. It's our moms giving birth.
And then I just remember soon after that, stuff started coming out, and he was just like way more just like
In the industrial
moderate
world.
and
It's a moral
centrist
moment.
than
Who
I
do
was
you stand
hoping
for?
for.
Like,
He's also
Truman
one of
shocked me
these
when he said they're
doofuses who
gonna
fucking
use
fell for the
some kind of
TikTok ban
budget gimmick
bullshit.
to push this through. You shocked me, Chuck.
Not
I
impressed
thought this was
there,
gonna come
for
down to
example.
parliamentarian,
But you know
it
what?
doesn't sound like
Fuck
it.
yeah
Now it's just gonna
on
get
this.
done.
This is great.
With the math, and I read from Manhattan
Hell yeah.
Institute criticized it on the right. AEI criticized it on the right. They said, what are you doing? What are you doing, America? You're going
What are
to
you doing,
rake up
America?
trillions and trillions of dollars in debt that our children and our children's children are going to have to pay for, passing the bucks that will grow. Are you doing that to help people get more access to health care, more access to retirement security, more access to the things we believe in? Big ideas like universal child care, paid family leave. No, we're doing that in order to renew the tax cuts that I read conservative budget folks, moderate budget folks, all across the spectrum who said it will blow up our deficit. And the benefits of those tax cuts, not all, let's not use hyperbole, but most will go to the richest people in our country who I promise you, I celebrate people who've brought their ingenuity and their expertise and their grit and their tireless work who've built wealth in this country. Should not be us versus them, but I'm telling you that those folks do not need another tax cut. And the corporations who came here, you all remembered, said we would like a 25% rate. The people I read said that when we kicked it to 21, not even what they were asking for from 35, it exploded. One of the main reasons it exploded our debt. And we read from conservative groups who just said all these promises that we would grow our way out of our deficit, they didn't materialize. All the promises that were made. Trump, for those who don't remember or weren't here when I read it, was going around telling folks that, oh, my tariffs, this is 2017, my tariffs, the money that I get, that will be what we could pay down the debt. The math that they did was that would account for about 1/750th of the debt at that time. But he used that money to try to compensate the farmers that he was hurting with his tariffs. This is a moral moment, and people are getting hurt, and people are afraid because of the threats to Medicaid cuts. There were people writing in and said $880 billion would devastate me, but even small cuts to services, my whole family, fragile architecture of our finances, if you just pull out the transportation money that my disabled child uses, that will crumble my financial world. And so when you talk about the bigger cuts, we know the math. Many states who expanded Medicare.
Well, they're there,
have a
Drips,
trigger.
to
If it goes
help.
below
The
90%,
questions are
all the
basically
Medicare
support
expansion
him.
goes off in
You
that
know what I
state,
mean?
And millions of Americans will be hurt. That's not right, guys. That's
It's
not
how they show
right.
their
And
support.
so this is the choices we have before us. Our veterans and the VA. I'm mad at you now. You made me get very emotional with your story. We read John McCain's story. We read the stories of the poems of the unknown soldier looking over us
Thank
and
you,
saying, what are
CJ.
you doing to the Gold Star
My bangs
families?
are
What are
being
you
so
doing
annoying
to the
lately.
veterans? Are you
This
living up
half
to your
keep like
promises that you made? But
drying
right
in this like
now,
weird
with the
fucking
cuts
like.
of tens of thousands, over 80,000 veterans who work for the VA, but even more because about 20% or so of all federal workers are veterans. And we read stories from veterans in America who are shaken by what's happening, who are losing their jobs but yet all they want to do is serve.
Yeah.
They're not what they're being called. They're not leeches. They're not
I think
criminals.
part of it they did
shouldn't
it
be degraded
in
for wanting to
shifts.
continue to serve their
There was like
nation.
a couple
This
that
is what
were
we're talking
there
about. Our
overnight
veterans,
and stuff.
our seniors, our
Like, I don't think
healthcare, our financial
I mean,
security
I don't think
going
it's productive either for all
I
of
asked
them
the
to be
question
there
to all those people who
24/7.
voted for
So I think
Donald
that part of the
Trump, who
agreement
believed in
was
him that he
like,
would lower your grocery prices.
you know, there was a
I
few
s-
in
I
there at a
asked you, look at
time,
your financial
except
self.
during
Are
the
you
daylight
better
hours.
off than you were 72 years ago financially? Well, the answer for most people who believed in him is no, because he didn't set out to do anything to lower prices. He set out to rename the Gulf of Mexico, to threaten Canada, to say I'm going to take over Greenland. He's done a lot of things, 140 executive orders. Many of them actually drive up your costs, make it more expensive to enroll in the ACA, reduce a lot of the tax credits there. He's increased your costs, he's taxed your bedrock services, stock market tumbles, your 401k accounts are less, inflation is up, consumer confidence is down. This is what the voices we brought into this chamber, the voices of our constituents, red states, blue states, the voices
I know,
of
right,
Democrats,
Drips?
Republicans, Republican governors, Democratic governors. we
Exactly,
brought all the
CJ.
people
It's
that are saying,
fucking-
no,
I
this is
started
a moral
crying
moment,
when he
not left or right, right or wrong.
Broke that record. I
So
started
I've
tearing
tried
up.
over the last 25 hours and
I mean, the symbolism is incredible. The symbolism is fucking
center the
incredible.
conversation back on what will we do of good conscience.
Yeah.
People who are saying, I served this country, I risked my life, shouldn't be able to keep my job. People who are saying, this country once made itself the envy of the world because we invested in high quality
And
education
remember,
for every child.
when
Don't want to
Strom
do
did
them all.
it,
At the end of
the
Department of
rules were
Education,
easier.
People are saying, I worked harder than I ever
He was
have.
able
The
to
prices
go
of
to the
everything in my
restroom
life are
in a
getting higher.
bucket in
People who are
chambers. He
saying
was
that the
able
America
to
I learned
eat
about
and
in school,
drink.
the one where people's rights are protected,
Cory
the people who are
cannot.
saying that why are we yet again
So he
going to
beat the
another
fucking
healthcare
record
battle
with
threatening
way,
millions
way
of people?
harder
The
odds
people are saying that I'm worried
stacked
about the financial
stacked
security
against him.
and the future of my country. The voices
So
of
take that,
folks.
fucking
So
Strom,
I end by saying simply
Thurmond.
this. Where I started was John Lewis. I don't know
Take
how
that.
to solve this. I don't know how to stop us from going down this road. Chuck Schumer's now told me that they're greasing the skids to do these things. I'm sorry. But I know who does have the power. The people of the United States of America. The power of the people is greater than the people in power. It is time to heed the words of the man I began this whole thing with,
Damn,
John Lewis.
really? I know he's in
folks,
shape. I know he used to be like some
Take
sort of
his example
athlete.
His early days, where he made
forget
himself
what type, but-
determined to show his love for his country at a time the country didn't love him. To love this country so much, to be such a patriot that he endured beatings savagely on the Edmund Pettus Bridge, at lunch counters, on freedom rides. He said he had
Mike,
to
it's
do
always been that
something.
way,
He would
unfortunately.
not normalize
At least a
moment
significant
like
portion
this.
always has been.
He would not just go along with business as usual. He wouldn't know how to solve it. But there's one thing that he would do that I hope
Damn,
we all
pretty.
can do that I think I did a little bit of tonight. He said for us to go out and cause some good trouble, necessary trouble, to redeem the
How long
soul
did it
of our
take him?
nation. I want you to redeem the dream. Let's be bold in America.
How long did it take him to run the entire
Not
city?
to mean and degrade Americans.
And did he not have
not
anything else to
divide us
do
against
as part of the
each other.
job?
Let's be bolder in America.
Every day?
With a vision that inspires.
No disrespect, just curious.
It starts with the people of the
How big
United
is the
States of
city?
America. That's how this country started. We, the
How many
people.
hours of the day
Let's get back to the ideals that
did he
others have
spend
threatened.
running
Let's get back to our founding
rather than
documents.
any-
That those are
doing
perfect
anything
geniuses
else?
had some very special words at the end of the
Gotcha.
Declaration of Independence. It was one of the greatest in all of humanity declarations of interdependence. When our founder said we must mutually pledge to
An
each other
ST and
our lives,
Oh,
our
strong.
fortunes, and our sacred honor.
Thurman anti-speech and
We need
CBs.
that now.
Cory Booker's being
from all
democracy over
Americans.
tyranny.
This is a moral moment. It's not left or right, it's right or wrong.
That's
into
really
trouble.
pretty.
My friend, Madam President, I yield the floor.
Holy shit. fuck, I'm standing for that. I am standing for that, man. Damn. He has been doing that for over 24 hours, for 25 hours. He did that for 25 hours and 6 minutes.
Madam President.
Damn.
Thank you to the pages. Thank you to the parliamentarian staff. Thank you to the clerks. Thank you to the doorkeepers. There are so
I gotta
many
do
places
some
people that make
squats
this
or
place special.
something.
I kept you up all
I
night.
could
kept you up
not.
24 hours. I just want to say thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Jesus. Jesus Christ.
Madam President.
Que
Madam
caballo.
President.
Senator from Idaho.
Madam President, this next regular order of business confirmation of Mr. Matthew Whitaker.
Order in the Senate, please. Order in the galleries.
Madam President, is the next regular order
It's
of
just
business
obstructing,
confirmation of
Bailey.
Mr. Matthew Whitaker to be ambassador to NATO. Is that the
He
next
broke the
order of
record.
business up?
It is.
Thank you. I'd ask unanimous consent that myself and the senator from Iowa be permitted to speak each 3 minutes, and immediately upon conclusion of that, we proceed to the vote on the confirmation.
Without objection,
I yield the floor to the senator from Iowa.
there will be order in the Senate. There will be order in the Senate.
They carried the person who tried to do that. I don't know what you think that would have achieved. They just would have gotten carried out. I don't think you understand how Congress works, Mike. Look at them. Fucking Republicans try to go immediately into business as usual as though they didn't just fucking witness history.
Thank you,
Trying to
Madam
minimize it.
President. And today I rise in support of the confirmation of Matt Whitaker to serve as the next United States ambassador to NATO. Matt is not only a proud Iowan, he is a dedicated public servant, an accomplished leader, a loving father, and a very, very dear friend. Matt was honorably served. He is honorably
You
served
did,
our
Michelle.
state and our country
You did.
as the U.S. Attorney for the Southern
Okay,
District
Mike.
of Iowa.
Cool. Let me know
In
when
private
you are doing
practice,
more,
most
and then we can talk.
recently as the former acting Attorney General of the United States.
Will the gentlewoman yield?
Yes, I will, Madam President.
The Senate will be in order. Please, senators, take your conversations off the floor. The gentlewoman from Iowa may proceed.
Thank you, Madam President.
Such a MAGA type comment.
Matt and I
Why?
first crossed paths during the 2014
I think you're referring to yourself, right?
primary in Iowa.
We were talking about this earlier. People like you are not happy. It's not worth anyone fucking trying to please you because you're mad when people do nothing and then you're mad when people do stuff. It's impossible to fucking please you, to satisfy you. You're not worth anyone's time. Your desires are not fucking worth catering to. Like, I'm not going to debate it with you because I know the game. You want to be complaining no matter what about anything that's done and anything that's not done. It doesn't fucking matter, dude. Your opinion, like, doesn't matter. It's always going to be negative.
He's willing to put differences aside, strengthen relationships, and put our country over
I
politics.
think so. Yeah, you must be right.
Over the last
Andrew,
few
it looks
years,
like a
during
wig.
exchanges with NATO allies, a consistent
Why is she wearing a
theme
wig?
emerged. The need for American leadership.
Not that she
A
can't,
willingness
obviously.
To speak hard truths and encourage our
No, you don't have to
partners
mute him,
to
Naz.
step
That's
up.
fine. Oh, you'll make it easy
Matt's
for him? Okay.
experience has
Go for it.
prepared him for this aspect of the job. With decades of law enforcement experience and having served as acting attorney general, Matt has successfully
You're a
collaborated
dumb
across many organizations and jurisdictions. He understands the evolving threats our nation and our
I'm a
allies
Nazi. Shit. I'm not. I'm not. TikTok. God. She is. She is. She is a Yahtzee. I know, right? She does. I know. She looks like a classic Yahtzee. Oh, God. Anyway. Wolfenstein? No. Even the pin on her. I know, right? It's funny now. That's literally what I was like focusing on when I said that. I was just like noticing her pin, like wondering what it was, and I was just like, whatever. Oh, look, there's another one. There's another Yahtzee. He looks like one too. He looks old enough to be one of the originals. Do you think he was an OG Yahtzee? Do you think he's trying to go back to the good old days when he was a brown shirt? That bro just out of control. No kidding. He's 81. Yeah, so he would have been alive during, right? Yeah, he would have been alive during World War II. Maybe he's put in like a brown onesie. He's trying to go back to the good old days. Like Regis Philbin? Wait, what did I say? Which part? Oh, I know, random. He went hiking in the woods a lot? What does that mean? That's a joke I'm not getting. Yahtzee. The age. Oh, did they go hiking a lot? Damn, they even ruined hiking. God damn it. They really did ruin everything they touch, huh? Did you guys hear that Proud Boys is now, the trademark is now owned by a black church, and they're selling t-shirts, Proud Boy t-shirts that are also like BLM t-shirts? I love it. They say like proud black boy. I love it. That's how you fucking fight back, dude. Exactly, right there. I did random. That was good. That was good. But that didn't show them like hiking. I mean, I guess it showed them hiking, but not like, that doesn't mean that it was like a particularly like H-youth thing. You know what I mean? I've been thinking about it a lot lately, the film. Because people were like, how is everyone just sitting around doing nothing? And it's like, this is how history feels like to live through it. Like, y'all need to watch that fucking movie. It literally, like, was a statement on this before, like, we got to this point. Because that's how it's always been. It's always been. It's just, and if it's just that, like, you were one of the people going about your daily life for the first fucking 50 years of it. You know what I mean? It's just that now it's gotten to an untenable point for you. But also, you're still going about your daily life. You're just, like, stressing about it a little bit more. It's just... We need to get French. I mean, I'm showing up. I'm marching and whatnot. I was at a march on Saturday. I posted about it. It really triggered MAGA. They're all over my fucking comments now. I'm gonna be at the march on the 5th, April 5th. I'm gonna try to live stream it, but if TikTok gets banned, TikTok's getting banned again on the 5th, right? On Saturday. So if it gets bananaed on that day, I'm going to try to live stream it, but I guess it won't really. Yeah, hands off on April 5th, exactly. I'm going to try to live stream, but Nice. Why is she wearing a wig, though? Does she just, like, not have very good hair or something? So April 5th, there's marches happening all across the country. It's a big one. Saturday. You got to look it up locally. I'm not sure what time it starts. Handsoff2025.com. There you go. Thank you, Drips. I'm going to try to be at the one in DC, but if I'm not there, I'll be at the one in New York City. Damn. That was cool. I can't believe we just saw it. I mean, I can believe it. We're watching history every day, but that was good history. That was a good piece of history. You know what I mean? That was nice. I like that he fucking dethroned a fucking racist. I mean, he dethroned a guy that literally filibustered for over 24 hours to stop the Civil Rights Act. He literally was so fucking fueled by the desire to deny equal fucking rights to people because of the color of their fucking skin. And he just fucking beat that. Fucking awesome. It's incredible. It's incredible. This country is built on racism. Someone was like, it hasn't actually been always this bad. No, it has been. The record was held by a guy who was filibustering to keep segregation and to keep an entire group of people having fewer fucking rights. That wasn't that long ago. He did. He beat Ted Cruz too. He beat Ted Cruz a few hours ago, to be fair. People who are surprised about where this country ended up right now are just haven't been paying attention or never paid attention to the fucking history. Where do you this is why they're trying to rewrite history. Because the US is not what it purports itself to be. Oh, I know. I saw that, Pudas, because he essayed a minor. A minor. And forcibly impregnated her. And she had a child. I learned that today. It's always them. It's always them. Oh, wow. Nice, random. I've been waiting. God, I've been waiting on documents from the fucking government to do my taxes from a couple years back, and they keep just not sending them to me. Oh, boy. What are you talking about, Tiger? Me too, Pudas. That was it? That's weird. I don't know what to tell you. I'm gonna get fucked for not filing my taxes correctly. Oh yeah. Anyway. It's been an honor to fucking witness history with you guys. That was incredible. That was really, really inspiring. I'm gonna hop off for a bit. I don't know if I'll be back on tonight, but that was cool. Yeah, that was amazing. That was pretty amazing. I did too, Pudas. I did too. You know what? That's okay. That's fine. I almost made it to 24 hours at one point, didn't I? Did I make it to 24 hours? I can't remember. We're up on everything. Spotify now. I didn't hit 40 hours. Did I? No. Don't say that. Did I? No. Did I? No. That was cool. All right. Everyone look up April 5th shit. You know what I mean? The hands off April 5th. I'm going to try to go live that day. But the app might not be here any longer. So I'll be live on the other apps. Maybe, I think. I'll try. I don't know. I never go live on the other apps from my phone, but I'll have to figure it out. I'll probably have to go live on like YouTube or something on my phone. Is that possible? Can you do that? Oh, nice, Rainham. Congratulations. Substack Live. I got to figure that out too. I got even fewer followers on Substack than any of the others. I've got like less than 200. So, I don't know. I'll figure one of them out. It'll probably be YouTube or IG. Honestly. Yeah, I went live on IG once and it sucked. Did not like it. Did not care for it. That's true. Random. Yeah, no, I'm live on YouTube now, but I don't know how to do it from my phone. Is what I'm saying. Well, the only reason I wouldn't be going live on TikTok is because TikTok would be defunct at that point for us. So I could go live. I don't know. We'll see. I'll test it out on my phone maybe. Or I don't know. I'll probably leave it to the last minute and then try to figure it out and then panic and we'll see. But I'm going to hop off for now. Oh, does it? Okay. Cool. Here you go. Try that robe. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Thank you. Random. Thank you guys. Thanks for hanging out. I might be back later. We'll see. I guess it's already 8:30 almost. Damn, it's late. He's been going for a long time. We witnessed history. That was awesome. I'm feeling good.